Okay, so welcome to the second webinar of the Skillman project. My name is Fabio Croci. I'm the project manager of this project funded by the European Commission under the Erasmus Plus program. This will be a very short webinar to introduce to you the contents of Skillman and what we have done until now, what is going to happen in a very next weeks with the final conference, which is supposed to be done, was planned on the 8th of November. But first of all, what is Skillman? I suppose that if you are attending this webinar, you already have done a first overview of our landing page, skillmanconference.com. As you have seen, probably this is a project aimed to provide vocational and training solutions for the most advanced skill gaps into the automotive sector. And I will show you a very short presentation of the contents of Skillman, and then we will go on with the most recent activities. That's it. So, okay, in a very few words, first of all, Skillman is an acronym of the sector skills alliances for the advanced manufacturing. We are focused in the transport sectors, and our consortium is composed by several typologies of partners. We have sector representatives, industrial, big industries, educational providers, and accreditation bodies. We are located in 3 countries, actually in United Kingdom, and Italy, and Denmark. In each country, we have 3 entities, at least. One educational provider. Here you can see we are CSCS in Italy, Birmingham Metropolitan College in United Kingdom, and Technisch Center in Denmark. Then we have our industries. We have Scandinavian Lines in Denmark, Centro di Ricerche Fiat here in Italy, and Jaguar Land Rover in UK. We also have in Italy another important partner, which is the CNR, which is the main national research body, who's providing the expertise. And finally, we have the certification bodies, again in Denmark, United Kingdom, and Italy. In a very few words, we are focusing on some areas which have been addressed as the most challenging areas for the automotive sector in terms of competencies. I mean that there are difficulties to find in the traditional school system people with such competencies, and in a world which is really quickly changing. So infotainment and wireless technologies, energy performance, innovative materials and production processes, innovation in production processes are the most relevant areas addressed by our industry participants. So actually, we are really near to the end of our project. We have spent a lot of time in designing innovative curriculum, in testing them on real classrooms, and finally, we are validating those final curriculum. I'm not going to show you a lot of contents. I just want to present to you one of the first drafts of the curriculum we have been working on in this very last month, so that you can have an overview of our main output. Just to check, Okay, so here is a first draft of one of the three curriculum we are working on. The three main areas are Industry and Production 4.0 Manager, which is the one you are looking at. The other two ones are focusing on robotics and on composite materials. This is just an example of what we are working on. First of all, each curricula has two parts. One part is a trainer's methodological guide in order to provide to our trainers all the elements to go on with the realization of our curriculum, both in terms of theoretical lessons, hands-on lessons, and the open educational resources on which the Skillman project is working on. Then you have the curriculum. We are going to take a look to this second part, so I'm going very quickly on, that's it, on the first units of learning, on the first of the units of learning who are composing the curriculum. Here you can have an overview of one of those units of learning called Planning ICT Solutions. Each unit of learning can be composed of several learning outcomes. In this case, we have two learning outcomes, 1.1 product and project planning, and then 1.2 technology trend monitoring. As you can see, each learning outcome is built on competencies and knowledge and skills, and on several aspects which are connected to the assessment methods, the criteria, the qualification and delivery methods. The qualification framework, I need to focus your attention on the fact that all the overall curriculum are built in a way that can let each learning outcome to be built under the European qualification framework, and particularly to the ECVET system, in order to be recognized in all Europe vocational training frameworks. So the main output is not only connected to the delivery of contents, but also to the fact that each curriculum can be applied also in other countries other than United Kingdom, Denmark and Italy, according to the European qualification framework. This is one of the main important aspects, because all the training that we are providing must be recognized in each national context. Of course, changing of the subjects we are addressing are evolving very quickly, so actually we are working on a flexible curriculum. But after this theoretical introduction, then we also have tested all our unit of learning in concrete classroom in order to validate our contents, and I think that in a very few slides I can show you one of our classroom. Just a second. Here we go. You are going to see just a few pictures of one area of one of our classroom in Denmark. In this case, this was piloting in the technical school of Copenhagen, connected to the Scandinavian Alliance. In this case, some students have worked on repairing composite materials according to our curriculum. So we acquired the feedbacks both from students and from teachers in order to have all the feedbacks which will be used, actually are used in these days, to verify the contents of the curriculum, to provide improvement of the curriculum. I think that we also have one of our students I think that Leonardo is connected. He was one of the students who attended one of the piloting in April or May. But among the other, we had something like almost 100 students attending in our countries, UK, Denmark, and Italy, several testing. So actually, we are approaching, as I was saying, to the very last period of our project, and in particular, we are working on the final conference. The final conference, and I'm going to show you the landing page of the final conference. Sorry, I've lost it. Okay. So at the address skillmanconference.info, you can find all the information to attend to the final step of our project in order to have the final presentation of the curricula and all the connected materials useful both for vocational educational providers, school system, and for the industries. Actually, the conference is planned for the 8th of November. And we are providing some facilities for participants. So actually there is an open call for participants in order to allow full or partial refund of travels and accommodation. The conference, the venue of the conference will be in Tecnica, which is awarded vocational and training school in San Sebastian, in the Basque Country. Actually, you can have an overview of Tecnica, clicking on the link. This is a very important location awarded by several international competitions, and we are very proud to be hosted by them. Then you will find in our landing page the click to register, the registering page, thanks to which you will also apply to the refund, which I was talking about. So you will have to provide a few information about you and your job activities. All those information will be used only under the Skillman.eu project, of course. And you can also choose to attend to several webinar, like the one we are doing now, to the international conference in San Sebastian, and also you can choose for you and for your organization to become a stakeholder or an ambassador for the Skillman project in order to have all the final documentation of the project and to be able to test yourself those activities in your school. Coming back to the conference, I can present to you also the details of the grants we are planning to provide here from CSCS for 15 reimbursement for the overall project and other 15 for the half of the expenses. The criteria to be selected will be done according to the motivation to the participation, to your profile, connected to the activity, to the activities connected to the web, to the conference. Please remember that we are focusing particularly on industry and production for dot manager, robotics, and composite materials. We will have in the morning, I'm looking for the program. We will have in the morning the overall presentation of the project. Details are coming in the very next days, and in the afternoon we will have parallel workshops. So you will be asked during the registration form to subscribe to one of those workshops depending on your interests, and you can choose where you want to participate, and if possible, also to provide contributions. Parallel workshops will go on for the afternoon. Then we will have a final award ceremony, and for those who can attend, also a social dinner planned on the same evening. So I'm going to the end of my presentation, but I would like to ask you to share as much as possible those information to your contacts, to your local contacts, in terms of students, of teachers, and of professionals of the automotive sectors and all the connected industries to the automotive sector. I remember again that this is an Erasmus Plus program funded under the ECVET, the main agency of the Erasmus Plus program of the European Commission, and that all the materials and the contents will be provided for free. This is a funded project, and we will disseminate all the contents through our official website, Skillman.eu. Well, the main presentation is ended. I'm going to open a discussion, and you will be free to ask any question you have on this project, on how to participate, and whatever you want to understand in a better way, which is the aim of the Skillman project. So please feel free to interact, mainly through the chat that you can see into your panel of this conference room. If necessary, we will give you also the microphone and the audio to ask questions by yourself. But first of all, feel free to interact through our chat. Meantime, I remember you that we have also other webinars, live sessions, which have been planned for once for each week, starting from the last week up to the 26th of October. You can subscribe again on this Register Now button. So please now feel free to give me some. Oh yes, we have some first questions.
Fabio, you hear me?
Yes, Leonardo, we can hear you.
Okay. I have one question for you. I want to know what kind of students are the target of the product.
Okay, thank you very much, Leonardo. Good question. Actually, all the project is focused on the ECVET framework. Mainly speaking, we are providing trainings from the 3rd ECVET level up to the 5th ECVET level, which means from the end of the high school up to the university degrees. We have different levels depending on the curricula. As I was saying, we have a flexible framework in order to provide all the competencies in all the levels depending on the contents of the training activities. The curricula, which I've shown before, the Industry.0 Manager, you can see that they have a very high ECVET level. So actually we are talking about the 5th level, but the other curricula and other units of learning are connected to the 3rd and to the 4th. Mainly speaking, this means that we are providing training activities, first of all, for people who has ended the high school or are in the very last year of their high school, and to people who are actually all students, university students or workers which have ended their university studies. So thanks again, Leonardo, for your questions, and please let me know if you have other questions. I will use this time to specify that composite materials, maybe you are not confident with this content, but as we are talking of composite materials also in the Skillman conference. Composite materials are these kind of materials which are used first of all in the aircraft systems in order to have more resistant framework materials for the aircraft, and they are going to be used even more in the cars and other automotive products. So our where is the composites? Composite materials. Our focus are the technicians who are able to repair the composites materials in the aircrafts, but this kind of subject can be applied also on other outputs. So Leonardo has another question. Yes, please, go on.
Yes, Fabio. And my question is, how can I identify the competencies I need to manage the industrial production?
Sorry, Leonardo, maybe the audio is quite low. Can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, sure. How can I identify the competencies I need to manage the industrial production? You have heard me.
Okay, thank you, Leonardo. Yes, we had some issue with your audio, but I think I have understood. So.
Okay.
Actually, when you take a look to our curriculum, you will see that for each learning outcome, and I'm coming back to one of those units of learning, you have a description of competencies, knowledge, and skills, which means, first of all, the competencies which are the competencies you are going to acquire under this learning outcome, the knowledge you are going to study in theoretical lessons, and the skills you are going to develop. This is the basic description of what you are going to learn, and of course, if you don't have these competencies and you want to learn this, this is the focus of your question, you have to check this. On those descriptions, each vocational training provider can, of course, develop assessment methods, pre-assessment and post-assessment, of course, and we are providing some hints in order to understand which kind of assessments can be chosen by the school, the training provider. In this case, we are suggesting written and exercises and tests, and these kinds of tests will be, by the end of the project, uploaded on our open educational resources, which means that you will be able to attend to our Moodle platform, and I'm going to load this page, and you will be able to make your own assessment in order to check your competencies, your skills. This is the main platform I'm talking about, and here you can see, for instance, several units of learning. We have all the curricula. Well, these are the description. This is the description of the unit of learning you were looking at in the PDF I was showing you before. For instance, if you want, we were in the Industry and Production Manager. If you want to check the planning ICT solutions, we still have to finalize the contents, but mainly speaking, you will have a pre-assessment test in the first part. You will have the contents of the lessons, also audio and visual contents, and again the final test you will be that will be shown by the end of the project in those pages. So, mainly speaking, this is the path we are building in order to assess your competences before and by the end of each unit of learning, in order to be sure that for each unit of learning you can have your own certificate. I mean, the power of the Skillman project is that we are not designing curricula to be done by the entire course, all the lessons. you have single units of learning, and for each unit of learning you can have your certification, and you can also build a path across curricula. I mean, you like as a student or as industry or school provider, training provider, you can choose your own units of learning to be merged with, for instance, the curriculum of robotics, and have the certification depending on your needs. So in the main page of the Skillman web learning platform, I was wrong, this was not in the first page, it was in this second page. You can see what I'm talking about. You can address each unit of learning in terms of overall curriculum, but also in terms of job roles. For instance, for some industry, you can have job roles who are addressing only several units of learning, or units of learning across curricula. Or even go on with your own certifications. I mean, like as a student, as participant, you can choose what you prefer to study and have your final certificate depending on what you fulfilled in terms of assessments. So I hope I have provided an answer, and I have yes, I have a question from Sadullah, who's asking, are these curricula adjustable for the on-job training? Thank you very much, Sadullah, for your question. Yes, I mean that these are units of learning built especially on the concrete job needs. First of all, I mean that during the first phase of our Skillman project, we worked together with the industries to identify which are the real need on the job roles, so which are the competencies connected to the concrete industry world, and we have designed all those units of learning in a very strict connection to hands-on activities. Let's say, for instance, the curricula of composites, which I was talking about before. The curricula of composites has also, yes, this unit, inspection of composite structures. This means that these are not only theoretical lessons, these are very concrete lessons in which students are asked to verify with their own eyes and their hands which kind of damage are on a particular composite material, and they will have to go on with their own activity. And each training school can, of course, design the contents of these units of learning depending on their concrete activity. In other words, each curricula, each description of learning outcome is a framework which can be fulfilled with the content specifically needed by your industrial activity. So mainly speaking and providing your answer, yes, the curricula are adjustable. Not only the curricula, each unit of learning is adjustable for the concrete job training. Okay, so I can see that Leonardo has a very last question. Please go on, Leonardo. And
yes, Fabio. I have the last question. I want to know which schools can help me when I'm in Denmark, for example, for a traineeship abroad.
Okay, thank you, Leonardo, for your question. The school connected to our project inside the consortium is the Technic School. I'm going to show you the presentation I was showing before so that you can have the overall. So it's the Technical School of Copenhagen, but this is only the school who was connected to the project since the beginning. The idea is that for sorry, I'm coming back to show you. Here we go. Technische Roberts Center. But this is the school like CSCS in Italy and Birmingham Metropolitan College in United Kingdom. These are the schools who have tested for the first time our curriculum. The idea is that any school in Europe can subscribe to our Skillman project and provide themselves the contents of this curricula, so that any school who has, of course, the technical competencies in terms of trainers and tools to be used during the training activities, but each school can use our curriculum and can provide those contents using all the documentation that has been provided by the Skillman project. So actually, the answer is that Technische Roberts Center is already providing this kind of activities, but we are sure that a lot of other schools will be able to provide those curriculum in the very next weeks and months. That's why it's very important that all the schools interested in the project will attend our international conference, in which we will provide all the information and the details to become freely, without any cost, to become an ambassadors of our Skillman project. So again, thanks for your question. I think that we are coming to the end of our webinar. If somebody have another question, please hurry up. Otherwise, I will end again, remembering you that we are waiting for your subscription for the international conference. Please share all the information. We have also the Facebook page event. We have the LinkedIn page event. So please provide all the information you have to provide to your friends, teachers, and schools, and partners, and whatever. We are also finalizing the keynote speakers in these very last days. So we will be able in the very next days to provide more details related to the content of the final conference. So please visit again the landing page. I'm going to remember it to you, the skillmanconference.info landing page, in which you will find more detailed program and the details related to the keynote speakers very soon. So again, thank you very much for your interest. Thank you very much for your participation and for the questions. And please feel free to contact us through the official contacts you can find in the skillmanconference.info. First of all, my contact. My name is Fabio Croci, CSCS. You can find here my address. And please feel free to contact also Tiziana Chiappelli, who is in charge for the organizational final conference, tiziana.chiappelli@cscs.it. Thank you very much for your participation. The webinar is ending. See you soon in San Sebastian.